I think they figured, she's trying to out-populist Bernie Sanders right now. She's got to tack hard to the left to make it through this primary, with Sanders nipping at her heels in New Hampshire. I think they sort of understand how the game is played. There was a great quote in Morning Consult today from a Wall Street lobbyist who basically said, this is what it is. It's the game, and these are the Clintons. She'll come around and she'll be Mrs. Wall Street by the time she's in office. Yeah,
and this is sort of a replay of what she did in the '90s too, because they had those kitchen table ads, like Harriet and I forget the other character's name, where they sat around and they were wringing their hands over their health care coverage, and she was going after health care companies simultaneously while the Clintons were taking all of this cash. And I'm wondering, is this the fact that she's trotting this out again and no one's calling her out on it is quite interesting to me.
Yeah, she may have had spats with drug companies and health insurance companies in the past throughout healthcare reform efforts and so on. But she's also a very transactional politician who will not hesitate to, if not get on another side of an issue, then at least incorporate, the concerns of a given industry if she feels that it's in her interest to do so. So,
right.
I think a lot of these companies realize that she'd just be a very easy person to work with because all you have to do is sort of put a carrot out there and, and she'll be in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and how much money are we talking about? I know it's a lot. It's a lot by our standards, but by Washington standards, they have a totally different yardstick. How much money are we talking about? Who are some of these players? Who are some of these industries, and how much money have they given them?
Right. Well, I counted 7 lobbyists for either health insurers or drug companies that have bundled money, so sort of fundraised for her campaign so far. And that comes about $360,000 they've raised for her campaign. But that's sort of a drop in the bucket compared to the amount that they've donated to the Clinton Foundation. Just 3 companies, insurer Humana, insurer Blue Cross Blue Shield, and drug company Pfizer, have donated as much as $15 million to the Clinton Foundation. So we're talking massive amounts of financial support, not just for her political efforts, but for her charitable efforts as well.
Right. And it makes perfect sense that someone who loves the idea of universal health care, single-payer health care, where you have locked in this consumer base, that they would also be taking money from drug companies and healthcare companies, because it's you mentioned the pharmaceutical companies as well, and then also these lobbyists on behalf of companies like Johnson & Johnson, Marathon Pharmaceuticals. I mean, the list is quite long for someone who counts these industries as her enemies, Lachlan.
Yeah, if you look back to the Obamacare debate, we saw the same sort of rhetoric, this kind of anti-corporate, anti-health insurer, anti-drug company rhetoric. Well, the final bill that was passed out of Congress, had sign-off from all these companies because there were these big carve-outs that would ensure, in the health insurance industry's case, that they were going to get a legally guaranteed customer base for their product. So, it would be one thing if we had Bernie Sanders-esque government takeovers of the healthcare industry writ large. With the Clintons, you're talking about extensive cooperation between government and the largest corporate actors out there, which of course means big profits for the largest companies.